being a girl is that I literally put on the shirt to start this episode, and I was like, I don't like the length. And so I was in my room just cutting my shirt before this episode. And then I'm like, girlhood, girls.
Wait, that's so funny that you're saying that, because this morning, like, when I was on my walk, this girl, like, smiled at me, and I was just like, I love women. Like, we're the best,
honestly.
And then I was like, I have so much respect for women. And then I was like, I don't for men.
And I just don't.
Anyway,
welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Polite as Fuck. Happy Wednesday. We hope you guys are doing well. You know, my regular weekly spiel that I give you guys. I will do something new at some point, but we are back from our trip.
Miami.
And
North
we are
Carolina.
Here. Yeah, and North Carolina, which seemed to be a little crazier than Miami. But yeah, we're excited to tell you guys about our trip. We had such a good time.
We did it.
We did it. I want to go back.
Yeah.
We've learned a lot immediately. We got tan.
Tan and beautiful.
I
wrote down talking points for us.
Oh, great.
Well, this is from my notes from our trip that we can reference.
Great. So, it just, like, sucks because I think I don't even know what you would call this. The hiccup, not even hiccup, but like the most frustrating part, the thorn of our trip literally happened the first night that we were there. Yeah. So as much as I don't want to talk about it, it's kind of like we have to because it's the first
really
night. It
kicked it off for us.
It really did. So we had like reached out to, Erica, I didn't, reached out to a lot of our friends that have been to Miami or that live in that area for like recommendations on things for us to do so that we didn't like walk around aimlessly trying to figure out what is fun and what's not. And one of the friends had recommended some of the clubs in Miami, obviously. So we flew in on a Saturday, and that was
Ellie
the night.
flew in from San Francisco.
Yes.
I flew in from San Diego. I had to take an Uber from Fort Lauderdale. Yeah. Her aunt picked her up. We were already like, there was a lot happening.
A lot. And you were like in desperate need of water. I just remember you just please bring me.
I just need water right now.
Our Airbnb was so nice.
So
I
cute.
loved it. That guy that lives like, I don't even know if he lived above us.
I think he lived upstairs.
Yeah. We had met him and he seemed really nice and was telling us how long he's lived in Miami, and he had this like, I mean, Airbnbs do well, but like his little binder with like all of the things to do.
Yeah,
just
recommendations for every area.
So cute.
A little bio about him.
Yeah.
He had like beautiful art in there.
Yeah.
It was decorated super cute. A garden that was like so lovely.
So nice, especially after like getting booked up and going sitting out in the sun. Yeah, that was nice. I wanted to find like a really nice dinner place for that night, and I don't even know how I found it. I think I was just like looking through Yelp or something, and this Serena, I think it was called. It's like a rooftop bar in South Beach, and I loved it. I loved everything about it. Going out to eat and like to nice restaurants is probably one of my favorite like things to do. I love it. I love trying new drinks. I love getting like different things off the menu, sharing everything. And my aunt was with us, so she was like, you know, wanting to order a bunch of different stuff too. And the atmosphere, the service, there was a show sort of, and
this girl was literally dancing with fire.
Yeah, and she was like, and of course my aunt is like, here, take a, you know, give you some cash, like, hey, and so, you know, she came over and like gave us a little show too, which was so fun, and I loved it. It was so nice.
It took us a minute to find it.
Yeah, it's hidden. It's hidden in inside of a hotel, so you have to like go inside the hotel and then like
go up to the roof,
find your way to the restaurant. But yeah, I really enjoyed that dinner because I wanted it to like kick off the night because I wanted to have like a very crazy fun night. I'm like, first time in Miami, let's do it.
So then coincidentally, some people that we knew were there for a bachelorette.
Oh my God, I literally forgot about that.
Yeah. The same weekend. And so I had messaged her. I was like, wait, this is real. And they were going to see some DJ at Live which if you know, that nightclub is like a famous nightclub in Vegas, and I guess they also have one in Miami, and it was $80 to get in, and we were like, do we want to spend $80? Like, that's kind of a lot. We took an Uber over to them to, like, meet up, and, like, one of the guys was like, yeah, I'm leaving, like, 'cause this was the end of their bachelor, like, yeah, a guy on The Bachelorette. It was,
yeah, just roll with it.
And I don't know, I feel like there was, like, not really, like, promoters. There was a bunch of girls trying to get in.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, I don't even think we can pay for, like, a ticket. Like, you have to be on a list. And so we were just kind of like, all right, let's go to one of the spots that was recommended. And...
But to say, like, it would have been nice to try, but, like, even just being in that hotel where the club is, like, we were in the lobby, and it was literally a party in the lobby. Like, there was live music, somebody was, like, banging on the drums, and, like, everybody was out and about. You could see everybody's, like, outfits. It was really fun. It wasn't not fun to be in there, but it's just hilarious.
Hilarious.
Literally leaving. I quit.
Podcasting is really hard.
It really is, especially when it's been a minute. I'm like, what are words? I can't speak. It's hilarious to think back, thinking like, oh, $80, we wouldn't pay for that. Because fast forward to Club Space is where we were like intended to go, because that's what we heard was fun. We looked at their Instagram. This
warehouse club that it's like a thing. Everyone's like, go to Club Space. Even after I told people that we had went there, they were like, oh my gosh, that's my favorite spot. There, I saw photos later that, like, who was there? Fisher?
Yeah.
Like, big names had come through there.
We just must have caught it on, like, a really weird night.
But
we didn't know that.
Because the line was across the street, out the door.
Out the door, like, weaving in and out, like, of this, like, there's construction. There's 2 clubs here and then 1 dive bar, and like, you're just, like, weaving through. So we're, like, waiting in line. I have to go pee, so my aunt and I go to the corner bar that's, it's literally called the corner bar, to go to pee, and that was, like, such a vibe. There was, the word vibe there goes again. Playing great music, the drinks were cheap, so I go pee. I'm like, oh man, it's like, if this doesn't work out, we should come back here. So Erica's like, hey, like, we're coming up, like, come over real quick. So we run back over, and like, everybody's there, everybody's dressed up, they're excited, we're meeting people in line. My aunt is like a talker, so she's like vibing with all of these people. And we get up, the security guy like goes through like us, we have to like check our bags, and my aunt had prescription in her purse that was like fairly new, and so the guy was like, you have to dump that out, and she's like, I'm not fucking dumping this out. So she, like, the guy kind of like looks up for a second, and she literally just unscrews the prescription, pours all of it in her purse, just like willy-nilly, and then throws the bottle away. So I'm like, okay, we're working hard here. Yeah. We are working hard to get there. We walk up, we're waiting in line, going to like go to pay. No one has told us the price. No one has said anything to us. Like, we're just excited. We can't really hear the music. Like, we just hear like sing, but like, that's it. We get up to the window, and my aunt goes first. And the lady goes, it's going to be $120.
Per person.
Per person. Per person. Not for 3.
Per person.
Per person. So,
So what do we do?
I really just want to tell this story and say, so we turned around.
Yeah, because we weren't even willing to spend $80.
Yeah.
To go see a DJ that we actually knew.
Exactly.
And with friends that were already in there.
Exactly.
But that's not
what happened, because I think Miami got to us, it's wormed its way in, and we were already like, oh my God, we're here, what do we do?
I feel like it was also like midnight almost. It was like...
It was late. It must have been, if not later.
Yeah, because I feel like things were like, everyone was, I don't know, it was like the start of the night in Miami, and I was like, we have to commit. In my mind, I felt like we had to like pick this spot, because I didn't want to keep driving. It was around, a lot, or like finding another place. And anyway, we spent the money.
And we went in, and it was absolute dog shit. I've never been more disappointed with music in my life. Should have taken more chocolates, because maybe that would have made it a little bit more enjoyable. But I was like, we really tried. But I was not about to turn around and leave either. Like, it was shit music, but I was like, oh no, we're fucking staying. We're staying. Something's going to come out of this night. We did get free water from AJ. Thank you, AJ. That was what we paid. $120 for some fucking disgusting bottled water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were like multiple rooms. So with like the one where you first walk in, there were a lot of people down there. But like after 10 minutes, you're like, there's only so much instance you can like dance to. And I do like house music. Like I enjoy certain DJs when I can like sing along and when I like know some of the songs. But there are no words in this. This is all just a beat. Yeah. And the same beat, and it would be faster, and then it would be slower, and it would build up, and then it'd be the same. And
the DJ
just
was
like,
on his phone. Like, and that, like, or they, I don't know. It was just so weird, and you looked around, and Erica thinks, I don't know. I guess you must have been right, but it must have been a 20, or a 18 and up club, which baffles me. Because I'm like, ew. No offense.
We had to get like 21 plus bracelets, and I feel like there's
why else would you do that?
Yeah,
that's very true.
Because there were like kids there,
and we looked so cute,
so
cute in our heels, walking around. It's already like 2:00 at this point, and so we're kind of like leaning. We go upstairs to see like the other DJs too, or maybe that DJ was on his phone.
The one upstairs.
But still, it was all shit. It was all shit music.
And no one was really dancing. I feel like everyone was just on drugs. So everyone was just like bobbing their head and like looking at the lights. Yeah. But like no one, it's not like, and it also really wasn't like dancing music. No. Like I don't really know what else sidestep you could do.
Ugh. That was such a struggle. Anyway, so we were like, all right, we're done with this. Like, lesson learned. But even still, like, that was our theme of the vacation is like, if we are we cannot complain about anything.
Because we spent $120.
Because we spent $120. But then I rewired my brain and said, that was a fever dream. And I actually never even had that money in my bank account. So.
No, it never existed.
Yeah. It wasn't even real. It was fake news.
But I forgot, we also had gone to that, like, dive bar after Serena. The one before we went to Live.
Last weekend, yeah. That was fun.
That was fun. The dive bars, honestly, the corner bar was one, and the Lost Weekend?
Lost Weekend, yeah.
Those were both, like, divey bars, and honestly, they were, like, the best vibes.
Yeah, they really were.
Like, the bartender was, like, dancing
drinks were, like, dive bar drinks. Like, you're taking a tequila shot. It doesn't really matter. But it's, like, the price difference between that and then going to fucking club space. I was like, I refuse to get a drink here.
Yeah, no.
They didn't even give you, like, tickets for drinks.
I know.
This is fucking so dumb.
It's so, yeah.
It would have been worth it, not to harp on about it, because I'm clearly still not upset about it. But I'm like, it would have been different if there was, like, if Fisher was there, or if somebody that you knew was there, because then it would have been like, oh fuck yeah, it was it was so bad, it was so bad.
Yeah, I think if you go to Miami and you want to do club space, like, know who's gonna play that night.
Yes.
And I don't know if they do lists, because we did get on lists later, like. It was like, if you get there before midnight, you get in for free. And we did that a few times.
Like how you do in Vegas. Like, if you just do a little bit of research, which I guess we should have, but I think, like, just this night just caught. We were already drinking, and I was like, whatever, fuck it.
Yeah. So anyway, that was our first night. But it got better it was a good night. It was just like, oh gosh, that was a lot of money.
Yeah.
But it got better. And I feel like it was so fun to dress up every night. Like, I was like, I want to do this more often.
Oh my gosh, I loved it.
Yeah.
That was probably one of my favorite parts about the trip was the dressing up.
Yeah. Because it's like you have these clothes, but they only get worn, like, what, for a wedding or, like, when you go to Vegas the one time every 2 years or whatever. Like, they just sit in your closet, and they're cute. I'm like, I like these outfits.
Yeah. And the confidence that I feel like we had, it was like I was a different person.
When you wear heels, although I will say my feet were fucked up.
Oh, yeah. But, like, I loved it. The clap of heels, and you're just, like, walking down the street. I'm like, strut.
Yeah, you do feel good.
I love it.
I feel confident.
Anyway, lesson learned. It's fine. We're fine. It's done. Wasn't even real. I think, like, besides the clubs and the nightlife that we'll get into, one of my favorite things that we did do is a lot of, like, the restaurants. So I said Serena. We also did, on the next day, on Sunday, we did the Wynwood Walls, like the graffiti and all that stuff, which was really fun. And then one of our friends, or Erica's friends,
That could be our friend.
you just like did all the work.
Specify.
I like saying that. 1-800-LUCKY, which was really interesting. They honestly, that DJ had better music.
That
than
DJ was so
Space.
good. Yeah.
And it was like Asian market is like the way that I would describe it. Like they have like different booths so you can try like different things from different people, and it was just like Asian food or Asian fusion, and oh my gosh, it was so good. We got some food from this lady who is Filipino, and she like came over and gave us like stickers for her business and was telling us and was telling us like all of the, like, you know, what her goals are for a restaurant. I don't know, it just felt very like, I just love, like I said, I love going out and like having a story around like the eating and it being so delicious, especially if you're gonna spend that much money. I want it to be fucking good.
I will say, like, on that note, there's like, you can feel and like see the culture, like the mix of all these different backgrounds there. And like, as much as I love San Diego and like, yeah, Mexico's right there, but like
it's like segregated almost. It feels very weird.
Yeah. It wasn't like, oh, I like turn the street and here's this place, and like everyone's like so excited and like passionate about their restaurant or store or whatever. Like, I don't know, sometimes going out to eat here, it's like, we were talking about this morning. I'm like, do you hate me for being at your restaurant?
Literally.
Right now? I don't know.
Giving you my money for your service?
I don't understand.
Yeah. I did not feel that way in Miami, which was really nice. But I did enjoy that place a lot, and I liked the Wynwood Walls. It was nice to like walk around. I did feel like, I'm glad I did it to like check it off, but it's like a tourist trap, you know? It's like, it's great to know and see, and it was really fun, but not a tourist trap, but it's like, okay, one and done. I feel like I didn't really need to like do it that much. But we also went to the design district on that day, and where they have like all of those like expensive shops, and Erica and I were walking past the On Cloud shoes, and they had a sign outside of their store saying that they do a running club. And so Erica had taken a picture and been like, oh, like if we get to it, like we should do this. And in my mind, I'm like, a fucking running club on a vacation? You're fucking out of your mind. We did do it.
We did do it. And Elliot was freaking flying.
I loved it. That was so much fun.
I know, it was great. But I was like, we're going like over 2 minutes faster than the pace we were before we left.
Yeah. Well, and then I tried to run again in North Carolina, and I was dead. I was dying. I could not function.
But I think run clubs, like, if we were in a more social mood that day, it would have been a great way to meet people.
Yes.
I think I was like, I want to be here, but I don't really like want to go out of my way to like get to know people right now.
Yeah.
But it was fun to like have that ambiance and like also not have to think about like figuring out a running route in a place that we don't know.
Yes.
And people were like playing music, and
it was
really nice.
It was nice. Even for us not being social, I feel like we still, like, it was very like social. Everybody was like talking and like good vibes.
They did like a raffle at the end. Oh, this was the other thing. They were like, you could try their shoes on. You could do the running club with their shoes if you wanted to like test out the pair before you buy them or something, which is like
so interesting.
Yeah, it's so cool that they do that, because I've never bought those shoes before and I would want to try. So like if you're running like 3 miles, that's a good way to see if a shoe is like good for you. But they had a raffle at the end. It's not funny. And we were like, okay, we should stay. Like, they were giving away socks and like a pair of shoes or whatever. But to start, they like had this card that people had signed for this person who like had cancer, who was in the run club, and Ellie and I are like in the corner crying.
Literally, they like start saying like, we just love you, like a random person, never met this person before in my life, and they just like start talking about how resilient they are, and literally tears are coming down. We're like, okay, we need to like leave immediately.
We haven't
spoken one word to anybody who's in being there, and we're just like crying in the corner, and then we look at each other crying, and we start laughing. I'm like, oh my god, somebody needs to like escort us out because this is too much.
But you could just like sense the community, and it was beautiful. It was like a beautiful thing to witness.
Yeah, it was really beautiful.
It was just like, who are we? We do not belong.
No, not at all. That was so much fun. I also, to switch it up a little bit, I think my favorite night, like Rose, I think, of Miami, was Calle Ocho. They have like a bar that's been there forever. I don't know how long it's been there. I just know it's like famous, called Ball and Chain. And
which you should explain what Calle Ocho is.
Oh, in Little Havana, it's like the Cuban street. I don't really know. Yeah, it's like the street of Cubans. And they do like dance lessons, sort of. Like someone will kind of like teach you, and then, I don't know. I've never done anything like this before. And so we went in for a few drinks. I enjoyed like the atmosphere when we first came in, because not only like was Erica there, obviously, but both of my aunts that are from Florida were there. So I just felt very like all of the people, very just like family. I just really enjoyed that. The drinks were good. And then the food was really good. And then they kind of cleared out the space, and they have like one teacher or whatever giving like a quick lesson on dancing. Like everybody kind of like stands up like on the dance floor and is like doing a lesson. I think he only did it for like 30 minutes. And then after that, they were just playing music, and the atmosphere was just so like electric and just so Latin, because all of these guys would like ask girls to dance and like in a non like this is what you do sort of situation. And Erica and I, like literally guys would ask us to dance, and I'd be like, I have no idea what I'm doing. He's like, okay, no worries, I'll teach you. Every single time. I did not feel like, there was one, but that's a later day. I did not feel like weird or like, I was just like, I don't know, it just felt so much fun to be able to like have someone teach you and not look down and say that you're doing great, or like stop or do it like this, listen to the music and have it be a guy. I don't know, maybe it's just like my immature brain, but like thinking and coming from San Diego, like no guy here is going to do that if they don't have like another motive, or like would put themselves out there like that, or like not care. And I know it's different because that's literally what that bar does, but it was just nice we didn't even know what we were walking into, and then so to go in and do that, I was like, oh my god, what?
We danced for like hours.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was so much fun.
What was the name of the guy that like kept dancing with me?
I have no idea.
I don't either.
Wait.
Oh, that's gonna bother me.
Well, I know my guy, and his name is Pierre. And Pierre only wanted to do bachata and only wanted to do the part where you grind down to the floor and grind back onto the floor, to the ceiling. I hated it. I literally... My dress smelled like his cologne. And then when I packed it in my suitcase to fly to North Carolina, I like undid my suitcase, and I just got wafts of Pierre. I'm like, please, throw this in the wash. I can't handle it. Erica and I literally went out to like the back outside room. That's another thing. Everybody in Miami smokes cigarettes, which like, I like the smell of cigarettes, but I was just... Everybody
Everywhere.
Smokes cigarettes. It's crazy. I prefer that over a vape. Like I said before, be a real man and smoke a cigarette. Anyway.
Like I said, or
don't
do
anything. We went out to the back, and as we're like leaving to go sit down to like rest for a second, Pierre follows us and is like, Elizabeth. And I'm like, just give me 5 minutes. I can't dance anymore.
We're literally dripping sweat.
Yeah.
Because you were just dancing back to back to back. Like the moment you sit down, some other guy's like, do you want to dance? Which is fun. And I enjoy that. But I'm like, can we just have like a second?
Yeah. But it's like, that's the thing. I liked that, is to see a girl by themselves. Like, even in the middle of a song, people would be like, no, come here. Like, let's go dance. I'm like, okay, you're right. Like, I don't want to be sitting here by myself, actually.
Yeah.
No, that was really nice. But I'm like, oh, God, Pierre. It's going to bug me about not knowing that guy's name. Because I feel like it was
or something, but it wasn't that.
But it was like a, fuck me. It'll come to us. It will.
Did I write it down? Let's see.
In your list of freaking... You're telling that story. I am not saying silly... What I said at Ball and Chain. You can say that, because I am not.
I have it written down.
I refuse to tell this story. I wasn't even there. This is someone else who said this and behaved this idiotically. I was so frustrated. My grandparents are rolling in their graves.
Well, on that note, one thing that's really nice also about Miami, I envisioned when I moved to San Diego that I was going to be speaking Spanish a lot more. Because I was like, we're so close to Mexico.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure there's a lot of like there are a lot of Spanish speakers, but I just feel like unless you like go out of your way to like find that, like you said, it's really segregated, or it's just not like a thing. You know? But everywhere there is like
your Uber drivers, your
language is Spanish.
Yes.
And so if they'll start speaking to you in Spanish, and then if they're like, oh, they don't speak Spanish, they'll switch to English. But I was like, great, I get to practice. And so does Ellie. And so
I'm just going to look off.
When we were at this Ball and Chain, she went to order some drinks.
I can't believe this is going to be on the podcast. This is forever. What you're about to say is going to be there forever.
And she was practicing a little Spanglish.
It just came out.
She was like, I don't even think you said, like, me regalas or something, like, can you give me, you were like, can I have 2 margaritas caliente, por favor?
And you know what the worst part of the story is? Erica didn't even hear. I could have let that go and be my own little secret for my life, for me just to have until the day that I die. Because it was so idiotic of me to say that. And literally, like, lady that's taking my drink is like, okay. I turned to Erica and I'm like, you want to know what I just did? Because it's loud as fuck and she's behind me, so she couldn't really, like, hear that whole interaction. And I just, like, you just tell people the dumb shit that you do. And so I turned around and was like, guess what I just did? I'm a fucking idiot. I just
love that you didn't say dos. 2 margaritas caliente.
It's the por favor, I think, that got me. Like, my mouth started to form those words and my brain just pushed them out. And as soon as they were, like, out in the world, I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Why?
But I did the same thing. Like, they're like, oh, is this where we're going? In English. And you're like, see.
I did that so much. The Uber driver would be like, is here okay? I'm like, see.
Yeah, we speak Spanish.
Oh my God. It's so dumb.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's just like one of the many dumb things that we did on that
I
trip.
said dumb things in English too, because
I forgot about this guy. Oh my God. The Uber driver.
Yeah, what did I even say?
This guy was talking to us. He was very kind. It was after our run club. Mm-hmm. And it was, we had like the whole like night planned, and we were trying to like get back to our Airbnb so that we could shower and go out because we wanted to have like a nice night. It was our last night. And so he picked us up. And he's telling us that he is not from Miami. He's from Orlando, but he got dropped. Like, someone wanted to be dropped off here, so he's trying to work his way up. And we get to talking. He's very nice, very kind, and starts telling us, like, we're getting closer to our Airbnb, and starts telling us, like, about his, like, side business, because we're wrapping up, and he, like, hands Erica his card. I can't even tell the story. Don't look at me. Hands Erica his card, and is like, I do,
drop shipping?
I do drop shipping and some other things. So whenever you're in Miami, like, you definitely like need to, reach out, all of these things. Like, Erica's like, there's a bit of a pause. And she's like, yeah, I mean, gotta get a piece of that pie. And then it's silence, and the guy's like, yeah. And I literally slow motion, I'm like, and you're like,
I didn't know what to say. I was like,
he drops us off, and Erica literally like runs away. I'm like, a piece of that pie? A piece of that pie? What does that even mean?
I don't know. And it like didn't even make sense in the context of the conversation.
Like you said it, and everybody was like, what? The silence.
Cricket.
Yeah,
the silence was so loud. I needed.
And then the guy's like, yeah. Like, that was awesome. I needed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love our dumbass sayings. What else? Oh my gosh, this was an amazing. Okay, at least I'm having so many things come to my brain right now. So on one of the nights, obviously in Miami, we wanted to like have a little beach day, and what's better, on a beach day than some chocolates. Mm-hmm. So we went for breakfast, ate some chocolates, hung out at the beach, took a little beach nap. I can tell you, having some chocolates and then going swimming in the ocean is my favorite thing. I felt I was a dolphin. I fully was like, my skin is so slippery. I was having a moment.
It was wonderful.
Side note, while I was also on these chocolates, there was something in the universe telling me to read the book The Alchemist. So if anybody out there, Sophia, has the book The Alchemist, Sophia, please mail that to me because I like, once, if something's telling you to do it, you gotta do it, gotta listen to the universe there. Yeah. Anyway, it was just a perfect beach day, enjoying our day in Miami.
We did. There were flags out that we later learned meant like
riptides and
animals that will kill you.
We saw a nurse shark, not that day, but we did see a shark, and that was another funny story. We were like, it was kind of like on a sandbar a little bit, like the beach kind of was like a baby beach where you walk out and then it drops, and Erica and I wanted to go see like the drop. I want to go to the drop off. Walked up, and she's like, okay, you go first. So I'm like walking, and she's like kind of walking beside me, and I literally see the fin, and I like slowly start to back up, and I'm like, oh my god, there's a shark. And Erica immediately, fully has been swimming her entire life, starts doing these like kicks with her legs, and she's like, oh my god, are you serious? And I'm like, yes, I swear it. And I'm like, wait, don't kick so big. And she goes, we gotta let him know we're here. Got out of the ocean. I'm done.
Friggin', it's so scary. I do not want to be attacked. Like, I love the ocean, and then you, like, remember everything that's in the ocean, and you're like, that is scary.
So scary. I just was like, that was hilarious. Anyway, we, saw all those flags. After, I'm doing a horrible job at explaining this.
Sorry, I'm distracting. I'm remembering other elements.
Me too.
Hopefully this is fun. Yeah.
We're going to listen back. What are you guys talking about? We wanted to go on, like, we wanted to walk off the beach and walk off the chocolates. Mm-hmm. We're, like, walking, and this is, like, the most hilarious and enjoyable walk. Eric and I, like, well, there's probably a few walks that we took on this trip that were very interesting, but this one was by far hilarious. When you're in a state of mind, looking at other people that aren't in your state of mind, they are just, like, so interesting. Also, yeah. South Beach brings, like, all of the tourists. I mean, we were there as tourists, too, but, like, you see everybody, like, grabbing all of their stuff, like, they're biking, or they have their coolers, and they're, they're look like lobsters because they've been, like, baking in the sun, and all of these things, and there's these two guys that we can see, like, up ahead on the path, and they're carrying probably every beach item known to man. And then we get a little closer and notice that one of the guys' swim trunks is literally ripped from, like, top to bottom. Like, the full rip. It looked like a slit.
You called it a sarong.
It was a sarong. I don't honestly remember anything I said that day, to be fully honest. And we get, like, closer, and they're clearly struggling. And they're like dead center, middle of the path, and like people are trying to like worm around them, and finally the guy stops and turns around, and we happen to be right there, and we're probably like this, like smiling, like, hey, and he goes, "You can pass," and Erica and I go, "Okay."
We were gonna do that?
Yeah, we were like walking by, you just start laughing, and I'm like, okay, you troll of the fucking sidewalk, granting us Gandalf, giving us permission to like fucking walk on this communal public fucking sidewalk, like with your sarong. I'm like, I couldn't even pay attention to all your belongings because your bits were hanging out. Just like, what the hell? And then further on this crazy walk that we're taking, we hear this guy, what song? Yeah?
I don't even remember what that's called.
Me either, but that was great. Anyways, like playing music on his phone. And we get closer. This very tall, lengthy man who is wearing the largest bright blue dress coat, whatever those suit jacket, sorry, bright blue, and then his pants were skin tight capris that like just under the knee and like plaid almost. And then like Chacos. Yeah, Tevas. Like, what is playing this. And then he turns around and he's wearing like this gold chain, playing the music on his phone. And we're just like, we're both like just silent, just watching this interaction happen. It's not even an interaction. He's just like existing, and we're just like existing with him. It was very weird. We get to the pier and we're walking down the pier, and we see him modeling. Mm-hmm. And to describe his modeling poses must have been like an emphasis on the crotch area, because it was like hunched shoulders and then like hands in pockets with like the pelvis bone like sticking all the way. Like if you took a picture, it would be like a backward C of how he looked. Like it just was insane. Yeah. And that was funny to me.
It was really funny. And crazy, because then 2 days later,
we saw him
at the club, at this like strip club that we were at.
Model man.
And who else did we see there? It was like our
the salsa girl.
Salsa girl was an actual dancer at this club.
And she was bringing all the moves.
Yeah.
Both in salsa and on the pole.
Yeah.
She was like, like on the pole. I'm like, damn, girl, you got energy for that shit?
It was actually like really fun.
So much fun.
I think I'm into strip clubs.
Yes, honestly, they're so much fun.
The one downside of it is that like no one else is really dancing because everyone's watching the dancers.
Except for the girls. Like the ladies that were next to us, like those two like older ladies were, I don't know what they were on, but I wish I had some because they were vibing.
I do think that like being there, and I don't think this is an excuse at all, but like men forget that like not everyone is like a paid professional there. The behavior that they have, I'm like, excuse you. Like one guy at one point like walked around and like grabbed my like waist, and I was like, hello? Like I'm not for sale. I'm not like going into the back room with you right now.
But also, like, the dancers wear very clear outfits that show them. And they're trying to do a job. They'll, like, make eye contact with you and go up and, like, try to get there. I'm, like, not looking at you. I'm looking at the lights. Like, that's the most I'm looking at. And this guy at the same place comes up and, like, this is the weirdest fucking story. He comes up and he's like, taps me on the shoulder and goes, "You're the most interesting person I've ever met." never seen this guy in my life. Never met him, don't even know. And I'm like, okay. Also, interesting. That's the best fucking thing. You're not beautiful, not cute. Interesting. I don't know whether to slap you or not. Yeah. And then he proceeds like, "Oh, can I get you something to drink?" I'm like, "No, well, bottled water, actually, like for me and my friend." He's like, "Okay, great. Can you order for me?" "No, you go." He's like, "Okay, this is what we're gonna do. You're gonna come with me, follow me, and then I'll order, but you have to come with me." "No, what the fuck?" And I'm like, "Please leave." So he goes, gets us water bottles, closed, thank God. And then we come back, He comes back with them, and he's like still trying to like have a conversation with me. Music is blasting, dancers on the dance floor. I'm like, shut up! I don't want to talk to you. I am busy, and I'm like not even like coherent enough to even speak to you right now. Please stop. And he's still trying to talk to me, and he goes, you're being rude. And I'm like, okay. He's like, okay, well, I just want to say, like, you're the most interesting person I've ever met, and then walks away.
At one point, he asked you another question, and you're like, that's 2 questions? I said 1 question.
Nope. You've reached your limit. And then another guy comes up, and he's like, what's your name? And I'm like, what did I say?
Not today, sir.
Not today, sir. And he was like, fair. Like, at least he was nice. The other guy was like, you're being kind of rude. Like, well, I don't care.
When he said to you, when he was like, here's what we're going to do, I was like,
she's busy.
I was like, she's with me and she's fine. But like, I knew you could handle yourself. I was just like,
for him, the way he said it was he was like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. Like, does this fly? Do you get people? Like, what woman likes that?
No.
Here's what we're gonna do. Fuck off.
Yeah,
is what we're gonna do.
Literally, get away.
Anyway, interesting men.
We went there twice.
Yeah, we went there twice. It was a lot of fun. One on a Sunday and one on a Wednesday.
Which is like, I loved that.
I know.
I loved that there was something happening every night.
Yeah.
Like, we went dancing at the salsa place again on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. And it was like lively. Like a lot of people there. And I liked that there was something you could do out late every night.
Yeah.
And honestly, not that I like want to be out every night in San Diego, but like, I was a little bit tired the next day, but like I wasn't dying.
No.
And I feel like going out and doing something like wakes you up, and then you're like, oh my gosh, that was so fun. Like having something to look forward to on a weeknight. Love.
Yeah.
Love that.
I was literally saying this to Erica earlier today. I went out for a drink yesterday after work and the bar did their last call at like 11:30, turned on the lights at 11:45, and then literally kicked people out. Like said, you need to leave at midnight. I'm like, I was telling my friend that I went out with, I was like, in Miami, the party doesn't even start until 1.
Yeah, I've been there before.
In Miami, I know what's up. But yeah, Miami all around. Wonderful.
Great time. I feel like you can have a night out, you have culture, you have good food, the beaches are beautiful, the weather was great. I can see how it can be boiling hot in the summer. The bugs were popping. I got mosquito bites up the wazoo. So I don't know that I'd want to go in the middle of the
wazoo. You should add that to your list. At one point after our long walk, Erica, we sat down for a second trying to take pictures, and we'll post some of these pictures that we tried to take of ourselves. And she goes, I'm like trying to figure out the next thing. She goes, I need to wet my whistle first. And I like look at her, I'm like, please don't ever say that again.
I don't know where these sayings were coming from. You said, I have, and I quote, let's take a gander. When we were trying to figure out if we should go back in the water or not. You're like, let's just
take a gander. Ew.
So we were really pulling out the white people saying.
Yeah, it was really great.
But then, yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's more we could say. We've been talking about it for a minute. But then we went to North Carolina, which ended up being crazier than Miami.
Yeah.
Somehow.
This is the second wedding I've ever been to. And it just like... It's hard. That's why I'm like breaking up like my favorite night in Miami versus my favorite night in North Carolina, because they're very like 2 different things, and I love them both. But like everybody on the dance floor, and like Dan and Amy, congratulations, and your families know how to freaking party. They were I did not expect that. And like, I mean, I know people dance, but they were like, everybody was dancing until it was like wrapping up. Yeah. And, like, having everybody on the dance floor and just, like, having such a great time, I was like, oh, remember this moment. This was so much fun.
Yeah, it was. But to kick off our arrival in North Carolina, we get there. We fly into Wilmington, which, if you know where that is, it's, like, a small coastal town. Like, it's not a major airport. And so the airport's really small. You walk out the front and, like, it's not, like, terminals, you know? It's like, you're there. And we order I try to order Uber, and it says it's going to be like $90. And I was like, there's no way. And then I get on Lyft. And
for 5 miles down the road.
Yeah. I get on Lyft, and it was 20, and I was like, okay. But then I'm watching the driver, like, because it's such a small town, the driver was already going to be like 15 minutes to get there or whatever. And then I'm watching her on the map, and she keeps like driving past every possible entrance to get to the airport. And I'm like, what is happening? And she calls and she's like, I've never seen this before. Every entrance is closed. Like, I might need to cancel. I don't know what's going on. And I'm like, okay, can we walk to the main road and like meet you on the main road since you can't get in? And because I had already seen that there were like 2 Lyft drivers in the whole area. So I'm like, if you canceled, we're just going to have to call another one and then we'll have the same issue. She's like, you can try, but it's like a long walk. And I was like, okay, whatever. Like, either way, we're going to have to do this. And so we start walking. I'm, like, in a sweatshirt. It's, like, so hot. I don't know why I didn't take this off. But there are no cars moving.
No.
And there's a lot of police officers.
Also, for some reason, because we're in North Carolina, the only song Erica and I are singing is The Hanging Tree from Hunger Games. So we're just, like, walking down this, like, completely deserted road. I'm like, oh, my God, come on. This is, like...
It's freaky. And then she calls and she was like... So there's like an active shooter right now, and I'm like,
we're in the middle of the street, and we're like, oh, no shelter, no trees, no cars, nowhere to hide.
But like, there's like this complex to the right, and we see people like standing outside. So I'm like, maybe that's where like it was happening.
Yeah.
And like, there's all these cops, but no one's stopping us. So I'm like, let's just keep walking. And then we get to a gas station. That we must have walked like a mile.
And people are outside of the outside of that working complex or whatever was happening. People are taking photos of the airport. And my dumbass is like, have you never seen planes before in North Carolina? I don't understand what they're like taking a picture of. And I keep looking back and I can't see anything because I'm like, what the fuck? I don't know what they're seeing.
I also think like it's weird to me that she said that and we were just like, okay.
Okay, and kept going.
Kept walking.
Like, why didn't we just ask the first cop that we saw?
I don't know, because like if there was a shooter, like we shouldn't have been walking in the middle of the road.
Like, okay, well, we're from California, so we know what we're doing. God.
Anyway, we get to a gas station and I'm like profusely sweating and we go on the grass and I'm just like laying in the shade and Ellie goes and talks to this officer, Wesley Davis.
You gotta say it with the accent.
Wesley Davis.
We probably shouldn't say his name. Like, that's his full name.
Whatever. He's never gonna listen. You guys look up. Don't do that.
I can actually give you his badge number.
You want to tell that side of the story?
I just was like, I wanted to know what the fuck was happening because our Uber driver, our Lyft driver did cancel. Cops all over the place, and I was like a little nervous to go talk to them, but I start walking up and there are 2 talking and the other guy kind of like stops and walks towards me. And I'm like, can you tell me what's going on? Like, my friend and I are here for a wedding and there's like our Lyft canceled. I'm so confused. I've never seen this many cops before in my life. And it caught me off guard. I feel like I literally gasped the way that he spoke. He said, well, ma'am, President Joe Biden is in town. And I can't stop talking like this because I love this accent. Anyway, and I'm just like, I literally was like, oh. So we like talked. We're like chatting for a little bit because there's nothing he's doing. We're just like waiting. And we're like talking for a little bit, like at least like 10, 15 minutes. And I was like, just laying, gross, Jesus. He's just laying off in the corner of this like shaded area. And I'm like talking to this cop. Anyways, like asking like, where are we from? Like what brought us in? We're just like hanging out and go back. Finally, Joe Biden drives by, so I'm like taking a video of it, and Erica's screaming in the background, Joe Biden, being obnoxious, which I love. Anyway, like taking a video, just like can't believe that we're in this situation, literally laying in grass. There's cops everywhere.
There's also protesters with Trump flags, like 5 of them.
5.
I'm like, you guys took the time out of your day to make sure that you could get here before they closed the roads, so that you could set up shop to wave your Trump flag while Biden drives by for what?
And honestly, he's probably asleep. He ain't seeing your fucking flags. What are you doing?
What do you think? Like, to have that time in the day just is astounding.
And that's what you choose to do with it?
Yeah.
So dumb. But it's at this point, it's been like an hour of just waiting. And they still have to...
It took us over 2 hours to get to the house.
We flew in at like 3. I don't even think we got there until like 5:30 or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway... So finally, they're like kind of starting to like open up the streets a little bit, and we're like kind of like closing up. You can see like the cops are trying to like talk to each other, and my cop walks over to us and he's like, hey, like I saw that you had your phone out. Did you get a video of Joe Biden driving by? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, do you mind sending it to me? So I'm like, okay. And like, I wasn't sure his like vibe. And so I was like, sure. So I was on Snapchat. So I downloaded it and like put it in my messages. I'm like, yeah, just put in your number and send it to yourself. And so he put in his number. Obviously I was like, oh, so did you get it? Yeah, that's my number, blah, blah, blah. Lyft picks us up. We go to our Airbnb. And in my mind, I'm like, I wonder if he's going to say something. Like, I wonder if he is going to, like, message. He never did. And should I just, like, keep going?
It's up to you if you want to tell this story.
And after, like, we flew in on a Thursday, and then we had, like, our welcome drinks on Friday. And our welcome drinks, because it was our day.
Everyone was welcoming us to the wedding.
Anyway, I had a few glasses of wine. And so I finally decide to text the cop. And I'm like...
Well, I want to say that everyone else was going out to the bars. And I was exhausted. I was like, if I go out to the bars, I will not be fun. So I went to bed. And Ellie was like, I'm going to go like on a little beach walk. Now say your story.
So I was on my beach walk, and then while I was on the beach, I was like, I don't want to do this by myself. I would rather have someone with me. So I text him, and I'm like, hey, I just listened back to this video, and I realized, like, my friend in the back is being obnoxious. Like, I'm so sorry. I still hope this was, like, usable. And he's like, well, to be honest, like, I didn't really want the video. Like, I just wanted your number. And I'm like, then why didn't you say anything? Like, why didn't you text? And he's like, I don't know. I know you were here for a wedding or for a little bit, but I just, like, thought whatever. Long story short, I'm like, you should come down here. He's like, okay, like, I'll call you when I'm in the car. So I'm, like, on the beach, like, walking back and forth, and he calls me, and we're on the phone for, like, 40 minutes. And finally, I'm like, where are you driving from? He's like, I live, like, 45 minutes away. I'm, like, almost there. And I'm like, you live 45 minutes away? It is 11 o'clock at night. Probably midnight at this point. It is midnight. And so we meet up. And we hang out. We like, we have a grand old time. We're like walking up and down the beach. He was so cute, such a gentleman. And he showed me the inside of his truck, and that was really nice.
And then I'm like half lucid. And I hear our other friend, because Ellie and I had the bunk bedrooms. So there were 3 of us in a bedroom. And I hear our one friend come back. Like, I'm, like, coherent enough to, like, realize, like, okay, someone's back. And then, like, a while later, I'm like, did Ellie just get in? And, like, thoughts are running through my mind of, like, maybe she fell asleep on the beach. Like, hopefully she's okay. But I'm, like, not awake enough to, like, wake up and be like, is everything okay? And then in the morning, you just come out in the same outfit you had on last night.
Minus my underwear.
Oh, she said it.
And, like, obviously I'm wearing the same thing, and Erica goes, like, with our whole group, like, we're all, the girls are just, like, sitting on the couch. She goes, so, like, what time did you get home last night? And honestly, it was like everybody goes, huh? Like, whips their head to me, and I'm like, well. And so I tell them the story and everything. It was just, like, fun little thing. But I'm like, it's crazy that we're in Miami, and I'm thinking to myself, like, oh, Miami is going to be like the rager, and I'm going to, like, meet all these guys.
Have a little dance floor makeout.
Never did I expect to meet up with a fucking state trooper in North Carolina. Anyway, I can't believe I did that.
Times. And then the next night, the actual night of the wedding, we had a flight.
So much fucking fun.
In Raleigh on Sunday morning ours was at 9, now this was at noon, but, like, to get there is 2-hour drive. So we're like, we're going to need to leave here at, like, 5 to get there in time to check in, to get on the plane. So we might as well just stay up all night.
And we did.
And we did it.
Surprisingly.
We stayed up all night. The after party was, like, really fun. There was the singer there who was incredible. And it was just, like, fun dive bar. I will say, like, I loved Miami, but I also loved, like, the beach town vibe of Wrightsville. And, like, we rode our bikes everywhere, which was really fun. Like,
and to have a group that all, like, not grew up there, but they all went to college there to show us around was so nice, because they're like, don't go here, order this, order that, blah, blah, blah. It was
like, let's go to this coffee shop. And we had, like, one group had a beach house on one side of the strand, and the other, like, we had ours on the other, so we were just, like, bopping back and forth, which was fun.
Yeah.
Were you about to say something?
No.
Sorry. But, like, obviously, it's not Miami, so things closed at, like, 2, and we were like, okay, we have, like, a few hours to kill. So we, like, take a shower, we're packing, we decide to go on a walk. Like,
most interesting walk.
3 a.m. But then our Uber driver got there early, so we're, like, sprinting.
In flip-flops. I'm not even wearing a bra, so I'm, like, running down the sidewalk. Like, ah, wait!
Oh. It was just a wild time, fun with friends. The Uber drive was actually horrible. It was like...
Stop, go, stop, go, stop,
he
gas.
didn't hold the gas pedal down. It was just like, accelerate, and I was like, I'm going to vomit. So I didn't sleep that whole time. And then when I got on the plane, I was in the middle seat, and the girl next to me had to pee. I'm not even kidding you, every 45 minutes. It was a direct flight to San Diego, but that's still like 5 hours.
Yeah.
And I was like, girl...
Do you want the middle? So I can get some fucking sleep?
Like, she kept, like, tapping me and being like, excuse me. And I'm like, oh, my God, please. How? How do you have to go to the bathroom this many times?
Stop drinking water. Stop drinking. I'd be like, slap it out of her hand.
She was, like, doing crosswords. She was reading. She was very active on the plane. We had very different nights, but... Yeah. Anyway, it was a very fun time.
So much fun. I mean, that is just, like... you know, the shortest recap that we can do for you guys, but like...
Wait, I do want to say this quote from you.
Oh, God, another one? Jesus Christ.
Wait, I wish I had more context, but like, Ellie and I were walking in...
Wait, I don't know this
you
one.
You said, if I was an MRI, those would be the neurons. What were you talking about?
It's gotta be on our walk. Wait, it has to be... Wait, hold on. Well, the neurons are gone because I can't even remember what I said.
We're on our last
last brain cell. That is insane. Alright. Oh, damn. I wish we...
I, like, tried to write things down as it came. I would recommend doing that and, like, funny moments, because looking back at this list, I just, like, chuckled to myself, and I'm like, wow, that was funny. That was a good time. This is so chaotic.
Just like our trip. You guys have, now you've really been there, the full experience.
Yeah, it's like we're all there together.
Yeah.
But I would highly recommend, like, obviously you guys know, if you've been listening, we've been planning this for, like, over a year.
Yeah.
And talking about wanting to do this and make the friggin' trip happen. Do it. It's so fun. It was such a good, like, this, I'll remember this forever. It was a great time.
Same. Where do you want to go next?
I mean, I really liked when you said Puerto Rico.
I feel like that's our next move.
I feel like that would be really fun. Okay, cool. So
Puerto Rico.
Stay tuned for the next recap of Puerto Rico.
Love it.
Oh yeah, it's my turn to close. Anyway, yeah, plan some trips. Summer is upon us. Make them happen. And if you get invited to a wedding, I would really recommend going if you can afford it, because I just feel like weddings are so fun.
So much fun.
Like, love is in the air. Everyone's happy. Everyone's celebrating. It's a great time.
Really is.
But yeah, have a lovely rest of your week, and we'll see you next time.